This is the 1995 Civic DX base model. I'll start with the exterior. So I have a lip here. I believe it's a replica, but it's pretty good quality. I got that off a friend, as well as the canards. Painted the car as well. The hood wrapped black originally. I kind of left that as is. I kind of like the look of the black hood and the white car. Painted it with graffiti paint, really cheap paint job. It's about a year old. I think I paid a little over $150 for it, and it's actually held up quite well. There's a few occasional chips along the car, but nothing really that bad. It still looks quite good. Tires are Nitto Neogens. So these actually originally came off a Miata that the motor blew up on, and so the guy sold me the wheels and tires for $500, which is a really good deal. Replica RPF ones as well, and these tires are phenomenal. It's like driving a go-kart. It's absolutely on rails, and I love it. They're in the back here. So the Civics are notorious for trapping air, so decided to get this little kit here. Seems to be working and holding up quite well. I have kind of hard to see here, but I have a tow hook as well, and I have a custom-made twin tip exhaust here. Had my buddy fabricate it all, so everything custom. I have the lower control arms put in as well. I also have Yonaka coilovers all around the car, and those have held up quite well. My sound system here, because I mean you have to have a good sound system. Got a 12-inch single. I have an amp, bit of storage space. I have all the wiring. I've tried to make it as neat as possible. I also have the strut bar in the front and in the back, and then just oil, because you gotta have that, and emergency kit, stuff like that, just things I might need. So I've got these Integra seats I put in. The old seats were awful, uncomfortable, just did not like them, so I found these on Facebook. I think it was less than $100 for the set. Great seats. They're a little bit bolstered, as you can see. So, and I also painted these black because they were originally tan kind of color. Fire extinguisher here, custom bracket. SI formats. I believe that these are actually out of a 2013. So I got those off a buddy that works at Honda for a pretty good deal. Moving on to my steering wheel here. So this is a discontinued Momo wheel. One of my friends sold this to me, and it's been really nice. It's nice leather, very strong, very comfortable. Got the Momo horn as well. Due to the nature of the steering wheel and because it's so flat, I often have the issue of hitting my knuckles here against the signals and stuff, so I ended up getting a Bellworks, I believe this is a 1-inch extension, and I also have an old school fixed Momo hub, so this is not a quick release. I don't like quick releases. I believe they're quite dangerous. I'd rather have a solid, steering wheel when I'm driving. I also have the SI gauge cluster here. So base model came with no tack. I never knew how high I was revving, so I got this gauge cluster off Marketplace as well. It was pretty close in the kilometer range of the actual car, the body of the car. And I've also got these ice blue LEDs I put in. I really like the look of it, and it looks pretty cool. Got an SI clock here. I found at a junkyard. It's kind of nice to know the time and all that sort of thing. Moving on, I used to have a single din in this car. I didn't really like it. I wanted something a bit more unique, so same friend who gave me the floor mats here got me this. It's not really a Japanese center console, but it is quite a rare center console here with the double din. Now the really cool part about this double din is it's quite period correct. So just close the door here. So it's completely touchscreen. That's my radar. Get to that in a sec. And you can tilt the screen, adjust it. You can actually open it up completely and it allows you to put in a DVD, which is super, super cool. Not like I'd ever do that, but it looks quite nice. For my shifter here, I've got a Mishimoto weighted shift knob. Cost me about $80. It feels quite nice. I do like the kind of grip like this. I prefer it over, you know, an egg or a ball. When I drive, I like grabbing onto it like that. I got this. I wanted to get a, you know, more storage space here for myself, but I couldn't really find one for an EG, so I opted for one out of an Integra. It's leather, holds a bunch of my stuff, and yeah, I've also got the radar detector, which has been an absolute lifesaver. Picked that up for $200. It's worked really well for me. I've also got hands-free calling and that sort of thing, which is really great. Pretty nice interior. The back is gutted for now. Not much else I can really say. This is a fully built B18 B1. So I went on Marketplace about a year ago and I found the engine, the transmission, and the shift linkage. It was missing things like a distributor and alternator and random bits here and there. But I'll just start with what you see now in front of you. So I have a twin core half rad. Picked this up on Marketplace, got a super killer deal on it. It's worked great for me. It's plenty of cooling for the car. The car never overheats, even if I'm really beating on it, which is great. I've got a DIY heat shield here. It's just a thermal bag. So it does actually provide a bit of protection from the heat of the engine. And I also, it's kind of tough to see, but that is the buffer I mentioned previously for the cold air to actually get to my intake. Strut bar as well. I got the AEM cold air intake here, and I've wrapped it with aluminum foil to attempt to lower intake temperatures since I'm naturally aspirated. I'm trying to squeeze out as much power as I can out of the motor. Brand new battery tie down, janky catch can. I will upgrade that at some point. Hasport engine mounts. These are the softest mounts Hasport has to offer. These were about $600 with shipping and everything like that. They work great. Originally I had these awful old engine mounts and the motor would move so badly that it would smack the back of the car every time I shifted. And it, you know, even though the motor is completely rebuilt, it felt like really, really sluggish and not very much like a new engine. So picked those up. So I decided to go the naturally aspirated route. I wanted to surprise people with what the car could do, and I didn't want people to know that it was fast or quick, however you want to look at it. It's fast for what it is. So I decided, let's go all motor. Everyone expects a turbo Civic. No one really expects, you know, this thing, which, I mean, it looks a little bit like it can go fast, but, you know, most people wouldn't really expect what it can actually do. So full exhaust. I got these headers literally off of eBay. I think they were literally under $100, and so I had to, with the help of my buddy, kind of cut and re-weld and position it so it would actually line up with the existing exhaust. I've got performance bearings installed on it. I've got the US Integra Type R pistons installed on the stock rods. These pistons, I believe, are a compression ratio of 10.8 to 1, which is great. And I also have the multi-layer metal steel head gasket, which will also raise my compression ratio, as well as a resurfaced block and head. And the bore is increased by 0.5 millimeters, so it is a larger displacement. That's pretty much the bottom end. Every gasket, seal, everything like that also replaced. And the head is completely done. So I have the port and polish, nothing too aggressive, because, you know, the more aggressive you go with a port and polish, the harder it is to really make power low end and high end, as well as a valve bowl grind, due to the fact that these castings, sometimes you get some material left on where the valve is actually just inside the bowl there. So they actually take material off to allow better flow, and that alone is a super good thing to do for if you're trying to increase the air coming in and out of the motor. Stage 2 Brian Crower naturally aspirated cams. I have springs and retainers as well from Brian Crower. The valves are also Brian Crower. So essentially everything in the motor, like in the top of the motor, besides the rockers, is Brian Crower. I just think it's the best bang for your buck. It honestly feels great to drive. I've got the AEM cam gears here, but I have not degreed them yet. But in the future, if I ever decide to do so, just want those there. Water pump and everything like that is new. I have a bit of a grounding kit here just to remove stress off of the battery and the, you know, when playing music and stuff, I don't want the alternator to get overloaded and that sort of thing. The only thing I haven't really done to the motor is oil pump, or, you know, I've replaced the oil pump, but like it's not upgraded. The oil pan is stock, the intake manifold stock, and these are all things that I eventually might do in the future. Got a just an Amazon metal cap. Actually, the plastic one broke on me, so I just thought, well, I don't want it to break again, so I got a metal one. Everything inside the distributor also replaced. Distributors go bad, it's just a thing. So I replaced the internals in that because it left me stranded. And all the spark plugs are NGKs. Spark plug wires are brand new as well. I run a thicker oil due to the cams being quite noisy. And I do have it completely tuned. It is street tuned. So if my tuner had to guess, he said anywhere between 160 to 180 wheel. It's quite impressive for what it is, and I did actually try racing one of my buddies who has a GSR swap DK, and it was pulling on him, and that motor's fully built as well. So it really does move quite well. 0 to 100, I have to guess, between 5 and 6 seconds, depending on conditions and that sort of thing. So it's a ton of fun to drive. Red line is set to 7,500, which is plenty for what it is. It's got a slight pop and bang tune on it. I know it's annoying, but I do enjoy that sort of thing. It sounds like no other Civic I've ever seen before. Very unique sound to it. Tons of fun to drive, like I said. It's great on the twisties, and that's pretty much it. The car does run on, I run Shell 93. I used to run Chevron 94, but my tuner said that actually the Shell fuel is better. And just because of the crazy high compression of the motor and all that stuff, I don't want to risk any pre-detonation or anything like that. So I run pretty much the best gas you can buy, like through the pump. So pretty much I did everything to the car. I actually ended up building the motor in my living room. Kind of all I had to work with, really. Took a while to get all the parts. I think in total it was somewhere near $10,000 put into this car. Actually, I had to replace the head on it. The machine shop that I first went to had messed up one of the valves, and so it burnt, chipped, was taking every 3,000 kilometers. It was a pain to drive and deal with and constantly do valve adjustments. So I ended up kind of saying, screw it, just gonna do it right this time. I went to a really good machine shop. I got all the work done, and if it wasn't for the previous shop's mess up, I would have been into it for around 8, or 7.5. So yeah, for $10,000, it's a pretty sweet ride. Everything, like I said, I've pretty much done myself. Great learning experience. Motor hasn't blown up. It's running really strong. Not much else I can say about it, but it's a really good daily driver with enough power to have enough fun, and definitely surprises people when they come for ride-alongs. They don't expect a non-VTEC Civic to perform the way this car does. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If anyone has any questions about the build or anything like that, feel free to just comment. That's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.